Hey folks, this is Kalori. Welcome to Scrum and Agile Digest. Now let's talk about the team, right? Now the team is actually the development team. It's usually size of 5 to 9 people, and this doesn't include the product owner or the Scrum Master, right? So the team should be small enough that communication and collaboration towards the finished product is ideal. You can have multiple development teams working on the same product, and this is fine as long as they are working on the same product backlog. But they have to follow the immutable rules, the Scrum artifact, the Scrum ceremonies from the Scrum framework. And they have to convert requirements from the product backlog to the done requirement. The team would consist of the developers, testers, UI designers, programmers, architects. They actually do the actual work of analyzing, designing, developing, and testing. So the other thing is teams are self-organizing. Usually there are no titles in this team. Okay, they are all, you can address them as the team. They have full authority to do anything to meet the sprint goals. Even the product owner doesn't have the authority here. As long as it's within the standards and guidelines of the organization, they have full authority to meet the sprint goals. And of course, we need to have collaborative teams, right, who maximize our product value, maximize agile adoption, maximize the product delivery. The next thing that I want to talk about is Tuckman's model. Tuckman actually gave a model of teams. He basically said, initially when the teams are starting off, they are kind of the forming team, right? So it's a new team. They are just getting organized. They are concerned with orientation, what kind of people they are. They don't know each other, right? So their performance is not going to be high. They will need a lot of guidance. They're pretty insecure at this point. The second stage of the team development is basically storming, right? Here, the team is becoming more close-knit. The team members are kind of getting to know each other. They're gaining each other's trust. They might have some conflicts. They're able to understand each other's personalities. But they're not at their highest performance here, and they might even hesitate to voice their opinion because they might think they're getting excluded from the group. The third stage is norming stage. Here, the team actually starts working in a fulfilling manner, right? Criticism is not taken personally anywhere, but it's constructive and task-oriented. So they are performing better at the norming stage. The team is cooperating on established rules, values, standards, methods. Their efficiency is higher. The next stage is the most productive stage, and that's the performing stage. Here, the team is functioning very well as a unit, right? And the energy of the group will benefit from the task. All team members, they know exactly what is expected of them, and they work together towards goals and objectives, right? They understand each other, they support each other, and they can make decisions independently and autonomously. And the last stage is, so basically the performing stage, they're the high performing team, right? And then adjourning means when the tasks of the team have been completed, the team is basically going to get dissolved. And the team members, they might experience anxiety because they have to let go of the group, and they might distance themselves from each other, kind of thing. But why I'm talking about the Tuckman's model here is that, this is the regular model that is for any team. But in Agile or Scrum, it's better to have a well-established, mature team which is in the performing stage, right? Or at least in the norming stage. The reason for that is you have such a short time frame, right, of getting work done. If you are, if your team is new and you're spending so much time in forming and storming stage, you're not really going to be able to deliver in the 2 to 4 weeks that you've been given, and your Scrum model is not going to work out. And I know it's not always possible that you have a mature team all the time who've worked together before, but if it is possible, try to have a mature team which you have, with whom you've worked together before, and that way they will not start from the forming or storming stage. They'll start from the norming, performing stage, and you'll have better quality results in the short time frame. So that's why I want to talk about the Tuckman's model. And now let's jump into our Scrum ceremonies. So what are the main Scrum ceremonies, right? So we have backlog refinement meetings, we have sprint planning meetings, we have daily Scrum meetings, we have sprint review meetings. These are basically the demo meeting that we will present our finished product to our product owner at the end of the sprint. And then the sprint retrospective meetings. And we will go through all of these Scrum ceremonies in detail. Then what are the artifacts or deliverables that we have for Scrum? So we have the product backlog, right? And again, this is pretty much dependent on the 3 pillars of impediments that we talked about, right? So it's kind of open the kimono, right? We are being transparent here. We are using the artifacts to show the whole Scrum team what we do. We're not pushing anything under the rug, right? So we have the sprint backlog, we have the sprint BurnDown charts, the minimal viable product, basically that's incremental value that we're presenting at the end of the sprint. It's basically going to show you what we've been doing throughout the sprint. So that's the sprint, the Scrum artifact. And now the timing, right? So you can see here, these are the various ceremonies that we have, right? So how much time should I have for each ceremony? Now, again, it depends on your sprint timeline, right? Usually, if it's a 2-week sprint, you can have a sprint planning. That's the first ceremony within 2 to 4 hours. And then the daily stand-up basically will be 15 minutes. The backlog grooming session basically usually 1 to 2 hours. Then the sprint review between 2 to 4 hours, and then sprint retrospective. Usually it should be 1 to 2 hours. Some teams skip it. I don't encourage that. It's very important that you have your retrospectives. It's a platform for you to know and get feedback as to what went, what was good and what went wrong. So you make sure the next sprint you don't make the same mistakes, and you keep on doing what's going well for you. All right, and then in the inside the Scrum process, the time box, you have the Scrum Master, the product owner, and the delivery team. All right. Next, let's look at the ceremonies in detail, right? So we first look at the backlog refinement meeting.